what's up you guys? I hope everybody's well and healthy. So one of the effects of this pandemic is that we're basically all forced to work from home. And while some of us can't wait to get back to the office, a lot of us are digging this new kind of working, right? I mean, where else can you go to a meeting without pants and not get kicked out? Now, because I run a small business, I don't have to drive into the city every day. And I'm fortunate enough to have a little space in our house where I can work in peace. Now, for me to be productive, I need that space to be clean and organized. When my office is cluttered, my mind feels cluttered. So I'm used to putting some kind of effort into my desk. But since we're all homebound, I decided to double down and really go for the ultimate work from home desk setup. So for the desk itself, I pretty much decided to go for the YouTube Special. 2 Alex drawer units from IKEA with a Carlby kitchen countertop. I went for the walnut version because I like warmer colors. I really love this setup because it's huge, it's inexpensive, and the countertop allows you to easily drill stuff into the bottom, which is important for cable management. I'm slightly OCD, so any cable I can hide, I will hide. The total cost of the entire setup is around $450, which is a lot cheaper than most desks. My desk chair is the Milbirget from IKEA. I got it because it was inexpensive and I didn't used to work from home that often. But now that I'm working at my desk all the time, I'll definitely be looking for an upgrade. The first thing you'll notice on top of my desk is the huge printer. In my personal life, I've gone almost 100% paperless. I read most documents on my iPad Pro, and I keep everything stored in the cloud. Unfortunately, for my work, I still need to print out documents quite often, so I need this thing. The HP LaserJet Pro is perfect for professional use. It prints really fast in black and white or color, double-sided of course, to save some trees. An added benefit from having this printer is that it can scan large stacks of documents in no time, so I can upload them to the cloud and get rid of the paper clutter. I debated whether I should keep it on my desk, but since I use it a lot and there's plenty of space, I decided to leave it there. I actually think it looks kinda nice. Probably the second thing catching the eye is my sound system. These are the Harman Kardon Soundsticks 2. The speakers are a product of a collaboration with Apple, and they were actually designed by Johnny Ivy. I've had these for years, but I still love the way they sound and look. So much so that I've even decided to keep the subwoofer on top of my desk instead of underneath it. Some of the stuff in my setup has been around for some time, but it just works so well, I haven't felt the need to replace it. I do a lot of multitasking, so I need a lot of screen real estate. Oh god, did I really just say that? I'm using the Samsung UH850 32-inch 4K monitor. It's a good size since I'm sitting relatively close to the screen, and it's 4K, so it has a decent resolution. The only gripe I have with it is the color accuracy, which isn't great. Videos I edit on this screen come out looking differently on other screens, like my iPad. But hey, it's not too expensive and it works great overall. I removed its original stand because it took up too much space and it wasn't adjustable in height, and I replaced it with a simple monitor arm from Amazon, which is mounted securely to my desk, height adjustable, and it allows me to tilt the screen. It pulls out for easy access to my cables, and you can even rotate the monitor to view it in portrait mode. The beating heart of this setup is my MacBook Pro 16-inch. It's pretty specced out at 32 gigs of RAM, a 2.3 GHz 8-core i9 processor, and the 8GB AMD Radeon Pro graphics card. This thing is an absolute powerhouse. I don't own a desktop computer and I really don't feel the need. This thing can handle anything I throw at it. Editing and rendering 4K videos is a breeze, and multitasking with a ton of windows open is no problem at all. My MacBook Pro pretty much lives on my desk in clamshell mode. The stand it's in is a relatively cheap one from Amazon by a company called Omoton, but it's perfect because you can adjust it to fit whatever size laptop you have. I rarely take my MacBook with me, and unless I have really heavy work sessions planned, the iPad Pro is my weapon of choice when I'm on the go. Combined with a new Magic Keyboard and the huge collection of professional apps available, I can do most things just fine, with the added advantage of being able to snap it off of the keyboard case to take handwritten notes, which I do a lot. I keep the iPad on my desk a lot too, either attached to the Magic Keyboard or in this nice and sleek looking adjustable stand by Lamicall.
I'll pop my phone in there sometimes too, to use it as a Pomodoro timer for instance. I like to keep Slack open on my iPad when I'm working, so I can communicate with my colleagues without having to switch between windows on my computer. Plus, it sends me a notification for my Ring doorbell when somebody's at my door. I can even talk to them, which is pretty cool. You'll notice that I've only got one single Thunderbolt 3 cable going into my MacBook, and that's it. How is this possible, you ask? Well, say hello to my little friend. This thing is a beast of a dock. It is the Caldigit TS3 Pro. It is the only thing connected to my MacBook, and it even powers it. On the back we've got the power cord, an Ethernet cable, the display port, a Thunderbolt 3 cable, the cable to my MacBook, a USB cable to my external hard drive, a USB cable to my webcam, a USB-C cable to my external SSD. And on the front, it has even more ports for easy access, and my favorite thing of all, a slot for my SD cards. I love being able to just take a quick shot, take the card out of the camera, pop it in here, and presto. I used to keep this thing on top of my desk, underneath the screen, but my OCD kicked in and the little bits of cable I could still see coming out of the back were bugging me. So I decided to mount it underneath my desk, keeping the easy access to the front ports. The dock is not cheap, but it connects everything I need seamlessly. For me, it's been totally worth the investment. To mount it under my desk, I used this aluminum mounting strip and some short screws that you can just easily drill straight into the wood. I used the same materials to mount my surge protectors and my power bricks that I don't need to move. And I used some of the scraps to manage all my cables. Also mounted underneath my desk is the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 3rd generation audio interface. It allows me to plug in an XLR microphone and record straight into my computer, which is great for voiceovers. It also lets me directly adjust the volume to whatever is playing, and it has an audio jack for my headphones, which is great for editing videos or producing music. The headphones I use are the Audio-Technica M50Xs. They sound great and they fit over my ears just right. I use a coiled cable when I'm using them at my desk so nothing gets tangled. I've done a little unboxing video on these, I'll put the card up in case you're interested. I thought about keeping the Scarlett on my desk, but this way I don't have to look at any cables. I know a lot of people use a stand for their headphones or hang them from a hook on the side of their drawing unit, but I prefer to just tuck them away in a drawer when I'm done using them. Less clutter that way. Now for the work from home part. Like most people, I'm doing a ton of video conferencing these days, and the only thing worse than looking at somebody's crappy video is listening to their horrible audio. That's why I decided to invest in an LED panel to light my face during video calls, which greatly improves the image quality. This is the Elgato Key Light Air. It's originally designed for gamers and streamers, but it actually works really well for video conferencing too. My desk is placed against the wall, so I can't really place any lights behind it. This light has its own weighted desk stand, which means I can place it just perfectly right behind my monitor. The light's app controlled, which means you can operate it from your smartphone, your tablet, or your desktop. You can change the tone between tungsten and daylight, and the brightness, which is cool. Although a physical on and off switch would have been nice to have. By the way, I'll put a link to all of the stuff in this video in the description below in case you're interested. The webcam I use is the Logitech C920. This camera is pretty old, but it's still really popular, and it's known for its good video and audio quality. It definitely beats that potato camera in my Macbook Pro, which is just awful. For conference calls that don't require video, I use my brand new Rode Podmic. Until yesterday, I was using the Blue Yeti for this, which is a great USB mic with a bunch of options, but it decided to die on me after many years of loyal service, so I needed to replace it fast. And after some YouTube research, I landed on the Rode Podmic. I'd used Rode products before, so I knew it would be decent quality, but since this mic is so much cheaper than other higher-end models, coming in at just $99, I had some doubts. But I gotta say, I'm really impressed with how it sounds. I'm actually recording the voiceover for this video on it. The boom arm I use is the Rode PSA-1. It's designed for the Rode Podcaster and Procaster mics, but you can attach pretty much any microphone to it. It also has a nice cable management system to keep my OCD happy. For my keyboard and mouse setup, I'm using the Apple Magic Keyboard and the Magic Trackpad, but I also use the Logitech MX Master 3, which is hands down the best mouse out there. I used to work exclusively on my trackpad, but I found that editing is much easier with a mouse. I decided to keep both so I can use my trackpad for gestures and scrubbing, and use the mouse for, well, everything else. Underneath my mouse and keyboard is the Londo leather desk mat. I don't like regular mouse pads, and I didn't want to get a huge desk mat covering up this nice countertop. For me, this size is just right, and it fits in nicely with the overall look of the desk. I keep a few other accessories on my desk. My favorite accessory is the Google Nest Hub, which is basically a Google Home Assistant with a screen. I know a lot of you guys in the US use Alexa, but Amazon hasn't yet penetrated the European market the same way it has the US, so Google is a lot more common. I use the hub for a lot of things, like adjusting the Philips Hue RGB lights in my office, or for keeping an eye on my 4-year-old when I'm at work and she's playing downstairs. Having this peace of mind helps me focus on my work a little better. The rest of the time, I just use it as a photo frame or a clock, or to ask it the occasional question, of course. During unexpected calls, I sometimes prefer taking handwritten notes. I don't always have my iPad near me, so I keep this weighted post-it dispenser on my desk to jot down quick notes by pen. I will then either type them up or just use a scanner app and upload them whenever I'm feeling lazy. And, of course, no YouTube desk setup is complete without a fake IKEA plant. We do keep actual plants and flowers around the house, but in here, I actually prefer the plastic ones. They look neat, and I don't need to worry about watering them. Lastly, I keep this replica of a sword, which I picked up in France one year to open my mail, or as a paperweight when I do need to keep some documents on my desk. What you don't see on my desk is charging cables. To charge all my stuff, I mounted an Anker PowerPort Speed into one of my top drawers. I leave one of each cables in there, so it is always ready to go. Next to it is a little Canon charger for my camera batteries. This way, I can charge all of my things, but they don't need to clutter up my desk while charging. The only thing charging on my desk is my phone. I put a wireless charging pad by Belkin underneath my screen, exactly an arm length away, so I can see my phone and keep it charged at the same time. And finally, some hand sanitizer, because we all get a little paranoid sometimes.
That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or you want me to do like an in-depth review on any of the items you just saw, just leave a comment below and I'll get right to it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. It's a new channel and I'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the bell so you know when I upload again, and I hope to see you in the next one.